Whoa. Hello everyone, it's Jenn from McCreath, March 16th, 2023. As you can see, I took my Newfoundland flag down from the wall behind me because I am ashamed and embarrassed for them, for what they have done to me. For the fourth time now, I've won a job competition with the public service, the provincial public service. And rather than get a job offer, they mysteriously cancel the job competition. I used to think it was because I was trans and there's transphobia going around in this government, but now I'm starting to think it's something else. I think it's more of a political thing. It's interesting now to see, it's funny, 15 years ago I was the first kind of openly out person in this province to transition here and do so in a fairly public manner. And the government at the time, in my opinion, had a problem with that, and that's why I lost the job I was initially brought here to do. That was a Conservative government. Now we have a Liberal government. It's no secret that I'm not a Liberal. And we now have trans people in the public service who are known Liberal supporters. So yeah, I'm starting to think there's something else to this. I still think it's discrimination, and I think it's wrong. What's frustrating is these job competitions aren't necessarily as open as they seem. There's fine print in the policies that essentially allow them to do just this. They can cancel a competition, they don't have to tell you why, and sorry, you're out of luck. I can go digging, I can file ATIP requests and try to find as much information as I can, but they're going to come back and say job competitions are exempt from ATIP, which is true. There is a clause in the ATIP Act that says they do not have to reveal details of job competitions. So yeah, they can basically hire whoever they want. They don't have to explain themselves. So do I go to the Human Rights Commission? It's interesting, I had a chat with the Human Rights Commission 14 years ago when I lost my first job in Newfoundland. Back then, the Human Rights Code, it wasn't even an act yet, dealt specifically with individual discrimination as opposed to systemic discrimination. And I felt that there just wasn't enough proof that I could provide to warrant following through with a complaint. I did file a complaint against the healthcare system, and that failed as well because they came back basically saying the Human Rights Commission is not in our scope to make decisions about healthcare. Now that act is it's an act. It's not just a policy. I guess that's my next question. How much background information do I need to provide in order to get them to take this case on? Do I even want to take this case on? I'd love to by myself, but I'm tired and I'm old and I'm injured. I got a bad knee. I'm just struggling to survive. I don't have the time, the energy to put into some sort of major lawsuit. I hate to just let this slide by because discrimination is wrong. But at the same time, sometimes you have to realize that you're up against an insurmountable opponent and there's not much you can do about it. My best bet is probably to just move on. Which is sad. Not only have I invested 16 years of my life here in Newfoundland, I made it my mission to prove that trans people could find equality in this province. I never thought I would stick around in Newfoundland very long. I just came here because there was a good job and a chance to make some more money and maybe pad the resume so I could go back to a big city and carry on with my life. And when I first started reaching out to local LGBTQ community members. Said, look, I'm trans. I don't really want to have to move again. Almost everyone said, don't transition here. You'll lose your job. You'll lose everything. I said, that's not right. It shouldn't matter which province you're in. This is Canada. We're supposed to have human rights. We're supposed to have health care. I made it a mission to make this work here. But at what cost? I was 33 then. At the end of being a young professional, entering supposedly the prime earning years of your life. Now, here I am 16 years later, not much further ahead, if at all. Oh, for God's sakes. I'm not even going to answer that because, let me just double check that. Yeah, I'm not going to take that. We'll just let that ring. I'm home today because of the snowstorm. No, I've lost my train of thought, of course. My goodness. Yeah, 49. I'm now too old. I had high hopes of meeting Mrs. Right, getting a great job, buying a house and a car, having children, living happily ever after, you know, stuff that most people out there take for granted. Well, it hasn't happened. None of that. No house, no good job, no car, no wife, no kids. Now I'm starting to wonder, is it too late to even get any of those things? It's amazing how financial health... Good coffee. If you want to survive in this world, you need physical health, you need mental health. You need to be able to eat properly, exercise properly, and rest properly. And when you're dealing with financial struggles, it can affect all of that. I've climbed to the top of what's a very low ceiling for me here in Newfoundland. About there, I guess. Before I came out as trans, I was up here earning good money. But now it's like I can't get any higher than this. And the banks are closing in. Debt. Do I file for bankruptcy? Start my life over from scratch and hope that things work out here? Or do I take a chance and just leave here and go somewhere else? Start from scratch all over again somewhere else. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. I thought as an activist, the education and awareness and the work I've done would make life a little easier for me. I'm glad other trans people seem to be doing well here. So I think I have done some good work and left a nice legacy for myself. Ironically, I'm not the one to reap the benefits of my own work. And I have to think about myself, because if I can't take care of myself, I can't help others. But yeah, I'm really angry, really upset. I think this story needs to be told. Jennifer McCreath continues to get screwed over by the public service of Newfoundland and Labrador. And I don't think it's because I'm trans, I think it's because I'm not a Liberal. I think the Liberals specifically are going out of their way to keep me out of senior level jobs. And I think that's really unfortunate. You don't really know me, Liberals. All you know is what you see on the surface. Heck, one of the most conservative-minded industries has welcomed me. The justice sector. I've worked for the Crown, I've worked for the courts, I've worked for the police. They don't seem to have a problem with me. Why do you? Is it fair to discriminate against someone because they're not a brown noser? Somebody needs to take this case up. I've put calls out to find people willing to work with me to help me. There doesn't seem to be any interest. So I'm really left with no other option. Dust myself off, concede defeat, and move on. So yeah, looks like we're going to have to move on. The question now is, where do we go? Gonna have to think about that carefully now, but life as I've known it just isn't working, and it's unfortunate. I'm officially declaring the Jennifer McCreath Newfoundland project a failure. Anyway, that's my update. Yeah, really angry, really upset, really frustrated, but I've done everything I can, and there's just nothing left for me to do here. If this is a hockey game, the scoreboard has now hit 0 and we just lost. So on to the next one. And what really bugs me is that nobody seems to care about this. Discrimination happening right here in Canada, and it's deemed acceptable. I just don't get it. Maybe this country isn't as good as I thought it was. Think about that, folks. Have a good one.